Full disclosure, the voice you are listening to now is artificially generated, brought to you by satisphonic.com. See the link in the description for more details. What is absolutely worth paying someone else to do. Movers. After a certain age, beer and food isn't enough to help move everything from one home to another. Totally. When I move, I make sure there's a lease overlap of at least a week. Spend 6 days with a van or big car taking boxes and smaller stuff over. Then pay some people to move the big and heavy stuff. If they're only moving several pieces of furniture, it's quick and cheap. And it's not like you won't have stuff to do in the new house as well. Putting up furniture, connecting lamps, unpacking. That shit takes forever. A thing I would definitely do if I ever become rich is when a friend asks me to help them move, say yes and send in a professional moving company in my place. I'll be at home having beer and piss. Cleaning your septic tank out. During pandemic, we got ours cleaned for the first time in 8 years of owning the house. Guy said you use a different company in the middle. Nope. This is the first time in 8 years we are getting it emptied. He looks at us, looks in the tank and says, don't shit much, do ya? My grandparents had our septic tank clean when they bought this place in '98. Reddettts once a month for 25 years, and it hasn't been pumped since. On the other hand, I have an uncle who cleans his toilet by dumping a bottle of bleach in the toilet and has to have his tank pumped once a year. On the other hand, I have an uncle who cleans his toilet by dumping a bottle of bleach in the toilet and has to have his tank pumped once a year. That's exactly what my germophobic brother did. He used bleach to clean everything. Worked fine in the city, not so fine in the country. My parents, on the other hand, are like your grandparents. 40 years, and they've only needed their septic tank pumped twice. Isn't a septic tank supposed to regulate itself under the correct circumstances? In a faraway land, there are magic bacteria that digest the poop and turn it into liquid that happily seeps out thought holes into a leach field where it makes the grass green. However, I've never actually seen this happen in person. In this world, the tank fills up with shit, water, and eventually, a guy has to come with a truck and pump it out. After a while, everything collapses and you need to buy a new one. Smells like money. Forbidden smoothie. Anything that involves crawling under the house or in the roof. I just spent all day putting insulation in the attic of my workshop. I'm glad it is almost done, but I almost wish I'd paid someone to do it for me. The only reason I didn't was that I put in a bunch of reinforcing to support a small ceiling hoist, and it had to be cut and fitted in a ton of places. I just hope it lowers my electric bill out there enough to make it worth the effort. My dad was a self-employed plumber. He did well. If he recognized the location might be a trailer, he flat out refused the work. Major electrical work. And plumbing. And gas. Some plumbing I might give a go to, but you definitely don't want to get it wrong. I once answered a help, wanted ad offering a bunch of money. It was for a mobile home repo service, and the owner needed someone to crawl under the trailers and use bottle jacks to get the thing off the ground and ready to be moved. As an older and wiser man, my advice is, if you ever find yourself crawling under an abandoned trailer in Georgia in the summer, crawl the hell right back up. Replacing the spring on the garage door. That can be lethal if you don't know what you're doing. Okay. This is good to know. Good to know for prevention, I hope. He sweeted the garage. Door is acting up again. Do you think you could change out the spring? The neighbor's husband said it's super easy, and he did it on their garage last summer. Boom. Life insurance payout. Wait, John died last summer. No, John died last spring. Thank you for posting this reply. I had no idea this was a thing until I read your comment and the replies to it. Went and checked my garage and it'll be damned. I have a broken spring. I assume the other is probably not far behind. Call the garage guy and he is on the way to check it out later tonight. Had no idea how dangerous a garage door spring could be. Seriously, thank you. 5-year homeowner here. Had various things to fix in the house over the years. Took care of them myself with the exception of 2 things. Garage door spring and arc unit replacements edit. Guys, it is not just the technicality of replacing the unit. Some of those AVAC units, some of those AF units, weigh like a dead horse. It required 2 big guys to carry it to a tight place under the Texas heath humidity. They were already soaking wet by the time they brought the unit where it needed to be. Everything you hate or suck at. Painting is both of those for me. Dog nails and anal gland expression. My dog had a bad experience once, and now he won't let anyone get close to his nails. His feet are fine, but once you go for nails, all hell breaks loose. My dog's a rescue and is freaked out by a lot of things, nail trimming included. The doggy daycare we took her to suggested we try a scratching pad to file her nails. About once a month or so I sit down with it and a pile of treats, and while she scratches I give her treats. Works great. Anal gland expression. My dog's vet once told me, you know, you could do this yourself at home. It's easy. I'm like, nice try, Tom Sawyer, but nope. Lot. What is anal gland expression? You really don't want to know, Lo. Is it for the dog? Edit. This was a joke. Please stop describing this experience to me. Dogs and cats have two glands, one on each side of the anus, that secrete a very stinky substance which evolved for scent marking purposes. For whatever reason, domestic dogs often don't express their glands on their own the way they're supposed to, and the glands can become impacted and need to be manually expressed. If impacted glands are not expressed, they can become infected and form an upset. The smell from the secretion is really strong and foul-smelling. The veterinarian I work for compares the smell to Chinese fish sauce. Most cats will never have an anal gland issue, but it is very common in dogs. If you notice that your pet is scooting grubbing its anus on the ground floor, or is frequently licking or chewing at its anus, there's a good chance the anal glands are impacted. Expressing them can be done at home, and there are plenty of tutorials on YouTube. Groomers and vets also offer the service, though groomers typically use a different technique that is not always as effective and can sometimes exacerbate the issue. I will continue to not have a dog. Moving. This a million times over. I'm too old for that shit, and I'm not even old. I'll pay someone gladly to do it for me. Yes, call the professionals. Nobody wants to help you move. Ever. Even with the ultimate reward of pizza. Lol yay. I just found out about it recently through Reddit. Google it. Lol. I'd have to look it up again myself to get the specifics correct. I just know it's nasty. Something to do with some dogs occasionally getting nasty stuff stuck around their anus and squeezing it out before it gets infected, and it can be a very messy process. Cutting down trees. I'm too old to go climbing up a huge oak tree with a chainsaw and paying for the professionals to pack up all your stuff before the actual day. I've paid for packing for my last 3 moves, and it is worth every penny. Surgery. I bought a home surgery kit. It was called Suture Self. There was a Soviet surgeon who was the only doctor at an Antarctic outpost and ended up having to remove his own appendix. That must have sucked. I remember reading about it. He used a mirror and had another guy to pass him surgical tools. Unfortunate, but quite badass. Roofing. If you live with someone else, a house cleaner, unless one of you loves cleaning so much it's like a hobby, it will reduce stress and friction among those you live with. Even if there aren't outright fights in my experience, often there is silent resentment from the person who does most of the cleaning. And there is almost always one person who does most of the cleaning. If you dispute this and think it's perfectly 5050 with your partner or roommate, then it's the other person. Dude, I just moved out of a house where a 50-year-old child lived. As he was moving in, he was very chipper when he told me that when the tub backs up to clean his hair out of the drain, I knew then, and I was right. Dude, fucking wugurked. Massages. Maids. I rent and my landlord starting charging us 50s for a maid service every other week. A lot of friends try telling me it's a waste of money, but their house is normally dirtier than mine, and they have a cleaning day. $50 is hella cheap. You don't want to know what I pay every week. Drywall work, especially mud and tape. Professionals make it look like sorcery. I make it look like 2 weeks of mud as antimusics and musicsbacks, antimusicsbacks and whiskies, cruise pin. $50 is hella cheap. You don't want to know what I pay every week. Cleaning service. Worth it each month. I do this for a living. The joy that people get from me doing this makes me love what I do. I've been getting my apartment cleaned every 2 weeks for a year and a half. It makes me so happy to walk into my place when it's just been cleaned. Thank you for your service. Really, anything that you value your own time, too much to do. Almost everything we buy is us paying someone else to do that thing for us. Landscaping. My God, I hate pulling weeds and trimming an overgrown garden. With my allergies and sensitive skin, it's even more of a disaster. Haircut. Tried once in COVID beginning. And yeah, it's better if someone else does it.